Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review on the channel, and today we will be talking about The Menu, directed by Mark Mylod, written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy, starring Ray Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Chau, Janet McTeer, Reed Birney, Judith Light, and John Leguizamo. So this is a film that I saw, trailers for, and I looked at the director's filmography, and to be quite honest, I didn't think it was going to be anything too impressive. But what I didn't realize is the script had been on the Hollywood blacklist for many years now, and it's just been kind of moving its way up, getting more notoriety, till it was finally picked up by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell's production company. And I know it went through a few directors. Originally, Alexander Payne was supposed to direct, but they settled on Mylod, and they went off with this film, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. I gotta say it off the bat, this is one of the best movies of the year. Once again, I honestly, as you'll be hearing over the next week, this week was the best week for movies this entire year. And this film is no exception, and obviously, first and foremost, this is a social satire on foodie culture, food criticism, and just absolute snobbery at its most finest. The way I look at it, it's kind of like a demented take on Ratatouille, where it's about that passion of cooking, and you see in every single frame in these very, very delicate and eloquent meals that the chef doles out to these people, even though there's such an air of pretentiousness about it. And basically, they're all full of shit. And I think it was just fun kind of taking the piss out of these people. Granted, I mean, what am I doing here? I'm critiquing a movie, I critique movies. But still, regardless, I think the lengths at which they go to portray these people and their absolute buffoonery and self-importance, I think really makes this film an effective satire in that sense. But then you have the chef, who has, obviously, without spoiling too much of the movie, has his own nefarious plans in store for these customers that he has this night at dinner. And the best part about it is Anya Taylor-Joy's character is kind of our conduit into the situation, and really the foil to this entire operation put in place by Ray Fiennes, because she's the only one who can see through all the bullshit. She's saying, I'm not even hungry, this isn't even food, all this sort of stuff, because she sees it for what it is. It's just a crock of shit, to be quite honest. And I absolutely love Anya Taylor-Joy in this. I'm so glad that she's becoming a household name. She's been in almost everything. Obviously, The Northman, she was great in earlier this year. But this, again, is another opportunity where she really gets to shine front and center, acting against an acting legend like Ray Fiennes, who, let me be honest with you, gives one of the best supporting turns of the entire year. He's intense, he's hysterically dry, he's witty, he's so blunt. It really is such an incredible performance. You cannot take your eyes off of him. He keeps the intensity throughout this entire performance. But the thing is, you really understand a lot of what the chef is saying, because obviously he's the villain of the film. But really, considering the people that are there, you almost buy into what he's saying, because it's I don't disagree with you at all, and really makes a lot of great points on food culture, food criticism, because I think that where this movie really excels is its themes, as I was mentioning before, but really showing how, in certain situations, how these people don't really care about what he's making, his art. They just care to say, oh, we did this, and we got to experience this, without ever truly appreciating all the hard work that was put into it. And I think that that is absolutely such a metaphor for filmmaking and filmmakers, how people will consume films and not really give it much thought after, or just kind of see it as disposable, while these filmmakers are pouring their heart into these projects. I can relate to that as someone who is a creative, and, because you want your child, so-called, to be loved. I mean, that's just a natural feeling from any artist, I think. So, not only that, but also there's this brilliant, brilliant moment, too, where you realize the movie's saying, a lot of people can criticize something without actually having a sense of idea of how to form it. And I think, yet again, that's a lot of criticism that has actually been thrown at film critics. Like, oh, well, you can sit there and critique all you want, but why can't you make it yourself? And that's not to say all critics can't, obviously, but I think that it is definitely a very damning statement to make, and one that I think is super, super relevant and poignant. And I think I got to talk about the cast. Obviously, I already talked about Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes. It's good to see John Leguizamo back in things, in good movies for once. And he's really great as kind of like the snide, sort of egotistical actor. I don't even know if they give him a name, but he's really good. And somehow I almost felt for his character. Because a lot of people in this movie are just absolutely terrible human beings. And I think Chau was really cold and calculating in this movie. Her entire demeanor really set me off right from the beginning and just shows how much range she has as an actress. I cannot wait to see her in The Whale. Very much looking forward to that. And then Janet McTeer, I thought, was really, yet again, another one who really grinded on my nerves as the pretentious food critic who kind of like gave this chef his start. And yeah, she's really good in this. I think really everyone is. But another absolute standout, I think, is Nicholas Hoult, who, at the beginning, I was like, okay, he's going to be the kind of the relatable guy that we kind of latch onto in the situation. He was the one I hated the most. It's like, I couldn't wait for him to shut the hell up and get off the screen, but Nicholas Hoult plays it so well that you absolutely despise this character. Absolutely hated him. One of the worst human beings I've seen in any movie all year. But it is so incredible what they do with this character. Because originally I thought they were playing it up to be something a little bit two-dimensional. And as the script slowly and brilliantly reveals itself, you realize that's not the case. And his role in this film is more significant than perhaps the film initially led it on to be. And I think that that's the other brilliant thing. This script, I think this should absolutely get a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. I think it'd be criminal if it didn't, and it might not, but damn it, it is so well structured. The reveals, the plants, the payoff, everything about it feels like how a classic script should be executed, but in a way that I feel like this hasn't really been done before. This is a very original idea, and it's great to see that in cinemas with so many remakes, so many other things going on that we've kind of seen regurgitated time and time again. And here is a film that isn't any of that, and it's not only is it intense, it's funny. This really is a dark comedy, first and foremost, before it's a thriller or before it's horror. I think I'd probably say it's horror the least, but the thriller elements are beyond thrilling and satisfying, so definitely have to give it credit there. And I just think the catharsis of this entire movie, especially between Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes' characters, I think leads to an incredibly emotionally satisfying conclusion, which I think some people are going to be split on, but if you really look at it for what it is, it makes sense thematically. There was no other way that they could have ended this movie, and I just think that this is a ride you should absolutely take, because, as I said, it hits on so many things that I can absolutely relate to. Seeing certain movie critics who I think are even above their own pay rate, if you will, I think this film is absolutely fantastic. So with that out of the way, I'm going to give The Menu a 9 out of 10. This absolutely is one of the best movies of the year. I hope it gets some award contention, at least for screenplay, because it is one of the tightest, well-crafted screenplays of the entire year. If I had to give it any criticism, I just think some of the other secondary characters don't get that much development, but you understand why a lot of them are there, and I think that is good enough for the most part. So have you guys seen The Menu? Drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this. I know a lot of people that I know absolutely love this film, so I want to hear if that's the same for you guys. And of course, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. So many more great movie reviews, especially since we are getting into the nitty-gritty of award season, especially with another mystery thriller film that could be even better. So stay on the lookout for that, and of course everything else that's going on in the channel. And until then, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.